Katha was a yoga instructor living in Mumbai with her 8-year-old son, Arav, who was suffering from blood cancer. She needed a lot of money for his treatment, so she worked multiple jobs at once. Today, however, she had a very important meeting with Vian Raghuvanshi, the owner of the Dubai Heritage Project. On the other hand, Vian was dealing with a problem from his client, Dali, who was demanding that a 2-year project be completed within a year. Because of this, Vian urgently needed an experienced architect. Meanwhile, Katha was showing a house to the Kulkarni couple where she learned that they too were expecting a child. Katha told them that her husband Adi had passed away and she was raising Arav alone. Even then, she never let her work suffer because she desperately needed money for Arav's treatment. When Arav came home from school, he told his mother that he also wanted a girlfriend. Laughing, Katha teased him that he wanted to become like Virat Kohli. Suddenly, due to his illness, Arav had difficulty breathing and Katha quickly gave him his medicine. She became even more determined to focus on her work so she could save her son. Vian was always the first to reach the office because he had a habit of double-checking everything. That's why Jitu jokingly called him CD. Meanwhile, Katha was busy taking care of Arav, who was struggling to breathe because of his cancer. Even so, she had to leave for her important meeting with Vian regarding the Dubai Heritage Project. But on the way, she met with an accident, which delayed her by 20 minutes. Vian was furious and scolded her for wasting everyone's time. Still, Katha began her presentation and explained that Dubai's heritage buildings were originally built with sand, so they should be restored using sand, not cement, because every architectural heritage site has a soul, and we must understand how to keep it alive. When the client Abdali arrived, Vian presented Katha's idea in his own way and secured the project. Vian did praise Katha, but reminded her that her permanent employment depended on the project's success. Just then, the doctor called Katha to the hospital and informed her that a donor had been found for Arav, but the cost of the treatment was $1 million. Katha was devastated, wondering how she could possibly gather such a large sum. In the last 5 years, Katha had worked day and night and managed to save $0.5 million for Arav's treatment. But the doctor told her that for Arav's magic treatment, they needed an additional 1 crore rupees, and that too within just 1 week. The doctors in New York had given a strict timeline even after finding the donor. To raise money, Katha even sold the last memory of her husband, their wedding ring, but she was still 90 lakh rupees short. Meanwhile, Vian was dealing with a girl named Shamita who was trying to spend personal time with him in exchange for a promotion. He immediately fired her and asked HR to handle the matter in the evening. Katha shared her worries with Falguni and told her she needed 1 crore rupees in just 1 week for Arav's treatment. Arav still had no idea how serious his condition was and happily talked about his new shoes. Katha reassured him that he would get the magic treatment and fully recover. Her biggest challenge now was to arrange such a huge amount in such a short time. Elsewhere, someone